Welcome back, you guys. I am so excited to be here with you guys today because today we're talking about a really controversial topic: evictions and tax deeds. Do they mix? Do they commingle? Is it like a repellent, like water and oil? Do they separate? What's good with this process, right? So who am I? I am the Jackie Jackson. I'm the only one out here in this internet calling themselves the Jackie Jackson, putting the announcement in front of their names. Okay, you can't miss me nowhere. All right. So if you want to learn more about me, who am I? You can go to thejackyjackson.com. All right. That's my official site. I'm a full-time real estate investor, expert, and coach. And I teach individuals just like you how to invest successfully and safely into tax liens and tax deeds all across the United States. And I did say all across. I mean, 50 whole good states, you guys. All right. So I know some people may specialize in one or two states and they do a lot of different things or whatever. But guess what? I'm trying to make money like sitting in my living room in front of this computer talking to you guys, or, doing what I do on the go. Right. I got a really, really busy life. I'm a full-time mom with 2 children. So I can totally empathize with your busy lifestyle and how you want to build your wealth as well, right? So you can physically be present, to do this strategy, or you can do it virtually, which is pretty much what I prefer. And I teach my students how to do and invest virtually, how to implement and how to invest virtually, no matter what state they live in, whether they want to invest in their own state or they want to invest someplace else, right? In their pajamas, okay? That's how we roll. All right. Anyway, so today's video is going to be talking about tax deed properties. All right. So we're going to hypothetically just discuss an acquisition. All right. So you've already purchased this property, whether you acquired it through a tax deed auction itself, or you actually implemented a tax sale foreclosure because you owned a tax lien certificate and the property owner did not redeem that certificate within the redemption period. So you decided that you was going to move forward with your collection attempts and actually submit your documentation, your process, initiate that process with the local courthouse clerk of courts, and you can do a foreclosure on that person, right? So you either did that, foreclose, or you acquired the property at an auction, or number 3, you acquired the property from the lands available list, right? Or forfeited lands or lands available for taxes, like whatever they call it in your state. All right. Sometimes they kind of twist the names around a little bit, but they all mean the same thing. So the lands available list or land available for taxes, those are properties possibly that did not sell at the auction, and they're available to the public for purchase on a first come, first served basis directly from the counties. Right? So you just purchase it, get the list, just purchase directly from them. No, competition, no bidding up or anything like that. It's just whatever the delinquent taxes is, along with the fees and the cost, the court costs and all that stuff. That's the total purchase price. All right. So either 1 or 2 or 3 of those strategies, however you acquire the property, the tax deed property, however you got your deed, that's what we talk about today. All right. So we're talking about tax deed properties and evictions, because I get this question all the time, especially in this operating environment, meaning the pandemic, right? Things have changed. There are now, moratoriums, all kinds of stuff from our government that has protected renters, even mortgage payers, right? People who have their homes or properties financed, if they are unable to make those payments, right? There's something called a forbearance in place that stops their mortgage company from actually filing a foreclosure on them. So that's a thing. And then you have the eviction moratorium, where it stops property owners who actually have tenants in their property who have defaulted on their lease. They can't evict them because they have this stay in order. Well, the stay is about to expire, what the U.S. government had put in place, or I don't know, maybe it might be extended. I don't know. But now we're talking about you purchasing a tax deed property and OMG, there's somebody occupying this property, right? Well, first of all, a small little caveat. When you're purchasing the property, you should know everything about that property, whether it's being occupied or whether it's vacant, before you even purchase it. Food for thought. So we don't purchase properties without doing our due diligence and our research in advance. So we know everything about the property. And it's okay if somebody's occupying the property. Like I buy properties, my students buy properties, somebody's living there. Okay, whatever. But the one thing that we do know is the law. All right. So I'm a huge advocate for reading the law. All right. So you got landlord tenant law, and then you have tax deed or tax delinquent tax collection law for real property as well as for personal property. So what I'm about to do is share my screen. I chose Florida. I'm a Floridian, so why not choose my state? But in many different states, the state law, the statute itself, will have the language which identifies if the tax deed investor, whoever is in possession of this tax deed, if they have immediate possession or delayed possession, or what the process is in the event that somebody is like occupying your property, right? So you want to know all of that information up front. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about what the law actually says and how to analyze and apply it for your real estate investing strategy and your exit strategy. Okay. So in the state of Florida, it is Florida Statute 197, Chapter 197, which is under Title 14, Taxation and Finance, Tax Collection, Sales, and Liens, right? So 197.562 is grantee of tax deed entitled to immediate possession. Okay. That's a big deal. Right there in the law, it says the grantee right there, whoever is the person that is receiving this tax deed, is entitled to immediate possession. OMG. What does that mean? So that means any person, like any individual, any firm, any corporations, if you're purchasing your property in your business name, your entity's name, right? It'll be any firm, any corporation, or county that is the grantee of any tax deed, or county. That's important too, because remember we talked about the lands available list, right? Those are the properties that are being managed and taken care of by the county. So the county also can have immediate possession as well. So the county that is the grantee of any tax deed under this law shall be entitled. Entitled, mean you got the right, like for real. It says entitled to the immediate possession of the lands described in the deed. So the lands described in the deed is going to be the legal description of that property. It's going to have the parcel ID. It's going to be property specific. Okay. So the tax deed owner is entitled to immediate possession, not 5 years from now, not, 6 months from now. It's called immediate, is right away. So that deed is issued to you. It's recorded in public records. It's your property. Like you own it. And the law says that you have the right to immediate possession, but you're like, okay, Jackie, I know what the law says. I get it. I can read. All right. But what if somebody's there and they don't want to go? Well, let's move on to the next sentence, shall we? All right. If a demand for possession is refused, like they're like, hell no, we won't go. Hell no, we won't go. Like they camp out, in the front lawn, that kind of thing, right? They refuse to leave. The purchaser, that's you, may apply to the circuit court. That's the same place that you got the deed, the circuit court, for a writ of assistance upon 5 days notice directed to the person refusing to deliver possession. So the law is actually on your side, you guys. It's on your side, for real. Like this is the time that you were like, oh my gosh, I thank goodness they put that in there. So upon service of the responsive pleadings, if any, meaning if there's no contesting, none of that stuff. Normally there isn't. The matter shall proceed as a chancery case, right? So a local, civil case in civil court. If the court finds for the applicant, or an order, shall be issued, right, by the court directing the sheriff to put the grantee in possession of the land. I mean, directing the sheriff. So the court is going to direct the sheriff to put you, the investor, the grantee of the deed, in possession of the land. So how do they do that? Well, you and the sheriff are going to go down there, right? Because the sheriff's big bad, right? So bigger, better than you and I. So the sheriff is going to go down to the property, your property, and they are going to put you in possession of your own property, right? So what that means, they're going to get the other person or whoever the occupants is of that property and get them to go out. And they're going to wait until they actually leave. Like, so it's kind of like, I'm in the human business. So this is a last resort for me personally. I don't necessarily like to do this process. I prefer not to, because I'm not trying to put anybody out on the street and have their stuff all on the sidewalk. You know what I'm talking about. When you be seeing mattresses and couches and, baby toys and everything on the sidewalk. I'm not even about that life. I don't really like seeing that or experiencing it or having anybody experience it. But the reason why I'm bringing it up and we're having this conversation is because I want you to understand that the law is on your side when it comes on to tax deed investing, Now, you do have some states where there is a redemption period after you've purchased the deed. That's a thing. Now, you would know that up front because you read the law, right? Okay, cool. So if there is a redemption period and there's like a grace period, if you will, you would know that in advance, right? So that would be part of your exit strategy planning for that, okay? And if there is a delay that says, okay, in the law, it says, all right, well, you can have possession, but you can't have possession until like 6 months. You would know that, right? Or 1 year or whatever. You would know what that is. But most of the laws say that you get possession, my love. All right. So you get possession or you get immediate possession. Is in rare circumstances that it say that you have delayed possession. All right. So you just got to read the fine print on that. And then if that is the case, then if that bothers you that much, then don't invest in the states that you don't get immediate possession. I mean, it's really that simple. We're not trying to go against the grain here. All right. Stop it. Right? We're going for the low hanging fruit. So we're going to go with the investment strategy that meets our needs. So if your desire is to get access to the property right away and you want to make sure that the law is on your side, then invest in the states that give you immediate possession. Florida is one that just happens to be one of them. There's many others, but Florida just happens to be one. So I just used it as an example. So you don't have a lease with the occupants. You don't have any agreements whatsoever, right? So there's no real legal obligation to honor anything that person has in place at all. With that said, we take it with a grain of salt. Why? Because we're ethical and we're in the people business. You're human, I'm human, they're human, and we're not trying to, put other humans in a hard place. So what I normally do and I teach my students to do is another process called cash for keys, right? If I've already had the conversation with them and I've identified that the individual is in a financial situation where they just can't afford to move, I'll say, okay, I will help you move. How about that? You're in luck. Today's your day. All right. You move out of the property with leaving the property in its current condition without ripping my walls up or doing anything dramatic to vandalize this property. And guess what you get? I get to financially assist you in helping you move on to find another place to go, right? Because I need my property right now, right? So I don't give them any money up front. I'm not an advocate of just putting cash in anybody's hand. I'm not trying to do that. They actually have to go in, and then I inspect the property or have one of my team members go over and inspect the property. And then after a successful inspection, then I will definitely honor my agreement that I made. So how much do I pay cash for keys? $500, $1,000, not much. It's just something for them to, reimburse themselves for their U-Haul truck and then be on their merry way. Okay. And then do I give them time? Sometimes, maybe a week, 2, 3, a month max, not much. My crew renovation is like pending, right? They're on their way to make the renovations to that property. So I wanted to share this information with you guys for those who are deathly afraid of purchasing property with somebody who is occupying it, or you realize somebody is on your land, because the county calls it land, whether there's a structure on it or not. Somebody's occupying your land. So even if somebody's just hiding out in the bushes, they're occupying your land. All right. You want to be able to let that person know, hey, there's a new owner in town, his property's on the new management, and you got to go because the law says I have the right to immediate possession. And in the event that you refuse to go, then I have another process that I can escalate it to, which is not in conflict with a regular eviction, which is a different type of process for landlords and tenants, right? When someone's defaulted on their lease. You don't have a lease with these occupants. You just bought this property at the auction. Now, some people will say, oh, Jackie, I could release it to them. And, now I got like a built-in tenant and stuff like that. You can do what you want to do, but that's just not something that I personally recommend. Because remember, in order for a property to actually even get to that defaulted state where it's being auctioned off for its real estate taxes, it had to be in default like at least 3 years in order for it to get to that tax sale place where the county is actually auctioning off the property for the delinquent taxes. So that means that whoever was occupying that property, they wasn't paying no bills for a minute. Okay, so they gotta go. They are not your ideal tenant because they are already well practiced in not paying bills. So what does that mean to you? They're probably not a good fit for your exit strategy as a tenant for your rental. So you want them to go so that you can re-rent it to somebody that you choose and you have already done the screening for. I'm just saying, all right? Can't say Jackie didn't tell you, all right? So, hey, do what you guys want, but I'm just saying you might want to consider that as an option. Anyway, if you want to learn more about this strategy, some insightful tips, and get really, really granular so you can reduce your learning curve and be successful right out the gate, I suggest that you consider enrolling in Tax Deed Genius. So what is Tax Deed Genius? It's my online 8-week course, over 90 videos of intensive learning directly from me. I leave no question unanswered, no stone unturned. I actually share my screen in a step-by-step hand-holding process to make sure that you are successful. You have all of the tools, all of the information, all of the checklists, all of the cheat sheets, you name it. I give you all of the laws. So even if you live in Alabama and you want to invest in Georgia, or if you live in Minnesota and you want to invest in Alaska, I don't know, whatever rocks and floats your boat, you will have the tools, the insight, the knowledge, and the wisdom to be able to make an educated decision on how you can do that. You won't be having any limitations wherever it is that you want to invest in your town, USA. That's how comprehensive this course is. All right. So again, you are listening to the Jackie Jackson, real estate investor, coach, and mentor. And I hope you love this video. All right. Drop your comments down, in the comment section. I read the comments. My team read the comments. Some of y'all like me. Some of y'all don't. It's all right. We still read them. And it's all good. Even if you don't like me, I had someone say, oh my gosh, Jackie, I don't like your laugh, and I'm like, oh, well, too bad. What am I going to do? Like not laugh anymore because you don't like my laugh? I mean, for real, that's just not how that works. Anyway, but I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Oh, and don't forget to click that notification bell so that you can be notified when new videos drop right on YouTube, so that you can be in the know with the Jackie Jackson. All right, love you guys. I will talk to y'all soon. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.